I just want to mention that there is an upcoming day this month in August, that there is a pretty big event for Julian Assange and Chelsea Manning. The Julian Assange Defense Committee, which is based in the UK in London, is having an action day on August 24th. In addition to that, anybody anywhere in any city that typically has events, or if you've never even had an event, please join in solidarity. Please plan something for the 24th. So I just wanted to encourage people to, if you're looking for a day this month, to do something for Julian and Chelsea. If you have an event going on in your local town that you want to take flyers to, or do some chalking, print some posters from Somerset Bean. August 24th would be a great day to do that. And looking ahead, we've talked about this a few times on the show, but thinking about October 11th will be the 6-month anniversary of Julian Assange's arrest and being pulled out of the embassy. So we would like for people to start thinking ahead about that date as well, to plan local actions where they are. Otherwise, we have our advertising. We're promoting on our Twitter account. In Berlin and New York City, there are weekly events happening. I believe Wednesdays and Thursdays. And if anybody else has any events they would like to promo, amplify on Twitter, please tag us or send us a message at Unity4J. And we can kind of get into some news stories too, Andrew.
Yeah, and with the activism too, Elizabeth Lee Voss has a great article that I'll link again about a bunch of different ways and styles that people have done activism, as far as like even just going out and sitting in a chair and holding up a sign or passing out flyers, or just going to a local community event and being there and saying, hey, I just want to talk to you about Julian and the case with WikiLeaks. But something here in the news too, and Steve did a really good highlight of it, and I think we touched on it last week, but I'm not positive. The FBI recently got leaked through Yahoo News that the FBI is classified or is considering classifying conspiracy theorists as terror suspects or domestic terrorists, because there have been such there's been instances of people committing acts that also believed in something else. So this is really one of the first times that we're seeing political thought be criminalized, because it'll come down to what's the acceptable line and what's the acceptable narrative. So there's actually a long history of the government stepping in and just randomly declaring things terrorist organizations. The first one that I can think of was probably back in like 2011, when they declared ICP, or the Insane Clown Posse, and their followers a criminal organization or a terrorist organization, and actually got them deplatformed and removed. And that was something that was back then a really, really big sign of what was to come. And it's something that no one really noticed and no one really paid attention to because it was such a fringe group. But it's one of those things that's like, if we would have stood up then and said, hey, no, you can't just call someone a non-state intelligence agency or call someone a domestic terrorist because you don't want their information to get out there, or you don't want a certain belief to be had. Not that it's a good or bad thing, but it eventually will come down to what is the acceptable narrative and the acceptable line. So I think it's something that we all kind of need to pay attention to that and see what happens with it, because it's horrifying.
I would like to clarify a little bit on the FBI document that was leaked. What it is it's a directive to basically all eyes law enforcement and people that are looped into law enforcement to recognize that conspiracy theories are essentially the gateway drug to domestic terrorism, and that the people who engage in or spread or quote unquote their version of conspiracy theories are one step closer to becoming radicalized domestic terrorists. They list off a handful of different kinds of conspiracy theories. Most of them are geopolitical. They point directly to QAnon, which is hilarious because there's nothing that screams NSA psyop like QAnon. But by the FBI's own definition, and I'll try to pull it up, but I don't know if I'll be able to be that snappy about it. But by the FBI's own definition, what Rachel Maddow has done for the last almost 3 years, she should be on a watch list. Their definition of conspiracy theorist is almost here, I swear to God.
That's a great point you bring up, that she absolutely would, because she essentially pushed a conspiracy theory that we know is not true. We know that now. Yet, of course, that was a narrative that was supported by those in power. So, of course, she will never be held to account for that, unfortunately. But I think that's a really important point that you addressed there.
Okay, so their definition from the document, and this I tweeted this out. I'll retweet it in a thread here in a second. A conspiracy theory is an attempt to explain events or circumstances as the result of a group of actors working in secret to benefit themselves at the expense of others. Conspiracy theories allege wrongdoing by powerful others. For example, public officials, business executives, scientists, or societally marginalized groups, Muslims or Jews, and are most prevalent among individuals with extreme political views. Relying on the premises that nothing happens by accident, nothing's seems, everything's connected, conspiracy theorists tend to view every bad outcome as a result of an intentional decision by an evil actor, dismiss discomforting evidence as fabricated by the conspirators, and connect a wide range of seemingly unrelated occurrences to suggest a larger plot. That is the Russians are coming for your power grid. That is Tulsi Gabbard is an agent of Vladimir Putin. That is Mitch McConnell is an agent of Vladimir Putin. That is every single McCarthyite smear that has been levied against everyone who said Russiagate is bullshit. That is every McCarthyite smear that's been levied against Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and the people that have brought forth the evidence into this kind of realm, into independent media, showing that yes, the DNC is crooked as shit. Yes, the NSA is all up in our everything. Yes, the elections are rigged. Yes, it is. Here's how the CIA goes into a computer and leaves footprints that will point to a different person in a different country if they want to. And here we are.
See, the language being used too. I mean, they say extreme political views. That could apply to anybody. That could apply to progressives who say that everybody has a right to healthcare. I mean, the language is so vague, it's left up to interpretation, that anybody could really apply to this. And you laid it out well just there, of all the people and all of the different ideas that do fall under this category. Christy, thoughts?
Yeah, it's a very dangerous precedent. And like Andrew mentioned, we have been down this path for quite a number of years, but now we're being very open about it. And the FBI and the government is being very open about it. And the language is extremely vague. And this could, I mean, the four of us could be seen as having very extreme views for supporting free speech and free press and supporting WikiLeaks. And I often wonder with the language of calling WikiLeaks a foreign intelligence agency, I think something along those lines, dangerous foreign intelligence, terrorist organization, all these things that have been used by our government officials to describe WikiLeaks. What does that make us? What does that make the American supporters of WikiLeaks?